So let me paint the scene. You are at a middle school track meet and you're running the 800 or 2 laps of the track. The gun goes off and you shoot ahead. Your legs are flying, your arms are pumping. Your crush is watching you from the bleachers. And then you're halfway through that first lap and you think, uh-oh, because you're 12 years old and no one has taught you anything about pacing. 3 minutes of excruciating pain later, you collapse across the finish line. Your legs feel like jelly set on fire. Now, whether you've had this experience or not, you can likely relate to that feeling of muscular fatigue. And you know the only way to let your legs recover is to let them rest. But have you ever thought about how the heart is a muscle as well, and yet it never gets to rest? Can your heart even get tired? That's the concept behind my thesis, which is exploring these issues of the heart. So exercise-induced cardiac fatigue was first noticed in 1964 when 2 famous scientists realized that athletes who exercised for over 2.5 hours had a reduction in blood being pumped out of their hearts per beat. And this implied that the heart wasn't contracting quite as hard as it previously could. Fast forward to today, and we now have many studies that have demonstrated a reduction in cardiac function following very prolonged or very intense exercise. But we don't really know what causes this cardiac fatigue. So my thesis set out to answer one main question: what drives exercise-induced cardiac fatigue? And in my first study, we wanted to get at this question of, is it intensity or duration? We had a very unique opportunity to go to an ultramarathon race and test the athletes before and after they competed in either 25, 50, 80, or 160 kilometers of running. And what we found was super unexpected. And that was that those athletes who raced in any distance, be it 2 hours long or 25 hours long, they had the same amount of cardiac fatigue. But we did find that those athletes who worked harder in the race had a bit more cardiac fatigue. So maybe it's how hard you go rather than for how long. In my second study, we thought, okay, we know that inflammation increases with very hard exercise. So maybe that's what's driving this cardiac fatigue. And we thought the best way to study this would be to test athletes after a moderate cycling bout, but with or without an injection to cause an increase in systemic inflammation. And this time, what did we find? This time we saw the same amount of cardiac fatigue following both bouts of exercise with or without the extra inflammation. So this tells us that cardiac fatigue is occurring independent of inflammation. So what does this all mean? Well, just like your legs feel like jelly set on fire after a track race, it's likely that your heart is tired as well. And it's happening if you're healthy or sick. There's also the chance that the harder you go, the more fatigue you'll have, regardless of duration. But does this mean we should be afraid of exercise? Probably not. Because just as your legs get stronger over time, it's likely that your heart does as well.